Welcome to Tekedia Daily. I'm Ndubuisi, Ekekwe. I'll be speaking on the latent factors, which are very critical most times for technology-enabled companies to succeed. My focus will be on African companies, what they can learn from Intel, HP, Microsoft, and some of the other global iconic companies on how they have used these latent factors for success. They say that technology is the most important competitive weapon in modern commerce and industry. Technology drives competitiveness. It's also the element that helps firms to disrupt their industries. The world of business today is the world of technology because at the most part of it, it is actually a technology competition that we have. When companies innovate, that innovation is always anchored in technology. And based on that, they go and win market shares. And when they do that, they find success. So technology is key and is very, very vital. But beyond technology, there are many other things that are necessary for any company to find success. For technology-enabled startups, especially in Africa, we need to look for all these factors to see how we can leverage them in order for us to find opportunity in the market. We love to read about dropouts from MIT and Harvard. But the reality here is this, that in that specific part of the world, there are ecosystems of investors, mentors, and coaches who are actually helping these young people to accelerate the innovations that they have created. But in our part of the world, we don't have most of those VCs, investors, and coaches and mentors to help us. And without them, technology cannot just help us. Because technology is just one of the pieces of the puzzles. There are other things which are necessary to drive a very virtuous system of innovation and bring success in a startup. I give you an example. Branding. Another example. Marketing. Another example. Business development, strategy, and pricing. These are all critical. You need to have the non-takeys in your farm in order for you to have the competitive capability to succeed. Because two people can create the same technology and one can win, especially in a market where only one person can be a winner. I give you cases on how this has been done in the past. When Microsoft started selling Windows, one of the biggest elements of its success is not really the Windows operating system. It's this issue that you can buy software, but you never own it. And every year you have to pay a license in order to continue to have a right to use it. The day you start paying for that license, especially for a corporate client, the day that they will say that you are using it illegally. And they sold that paradigm, and the world accepted it as the normal. Microsoft built an empire. And many people got tickets to become billionaires. But the reality is this, any person could have done that. General Motors, Ford, and Toyota, and all the car companies could have said that when you buy a car, you don't actually own the car. But you have to come back every 3-6 months in order for it to be serviced in one of their shops. And if you do not come, automatically they can revoke the license that you are using. And when you are coming for that service, you have to have money in your pocket because you have to pay. And that payment is part of retaining the license right to basically operate a vehicle. And if they have sold that at the beginning of the construct of car ownership around the world, people would have actually taken it as a norm. But unfortunately for them, they didn't do that. And luckily for us, people that buy cars, we are lucky because they didn't follow that model. Otherwise, we can't resell our cars just like we can't resell our software. These things will teach us a very great lesson. So Microsoft succeeded not just because of its strong intellectual property, but rather because in addition to that technology capability, price strategy was a very key element of it. I'll give you another company called Intel. When Intel was competing for market share with AMD, AMD is just a perennial tormentor, a perennial competitor, but Intel is largely light years ahead. But something was happening. People could not differentiate between the Intel laptops and AMD laptops. Because we never really see the microprocessor until we open the computer system. All we see Dell, HP, and all the big bold brands that are actually packaging all these microchips. But Intel figured out something. How can I begin to make people to care that it is not just a black box with HP logo and Intel logo that matters. There is something unique inside that laptop, that desktop, that computer system, and it has to be Intel. So just like that, Intel started a campaign of Intel Inside, letting people know it wasn't just enough to say, hey, I'm buying a laptop from Dell. You needed to know whether that laptop was made with Intel microprocessor. That opened that opportunity, and AMD was conquered. For HP also did the same thing when the dot matrix printer was becoming a very big problem in the market because it was very slow and it was not necessarily high quality. You start printing today and sometimes you just have to go home and come back, especially if you're working in a bank, because the dot matrix printer was not printing very fast. And you needed to print thousands of papers of documents, which you had to send to different branches for them to do reconciliations. One day, a company came out with a printer, named it LaserJet, and that laser connotes a kind of an imagination and perception of speed. The world went for it. Because HP has technology to back it up, it was totally laser, and it was fast. Just like that, LaserJet took market share from the competitors, and HP became the king of printing. So if you look at all these factors, these are latent, most times for techies. We don't necessarily care about them, but some of them are extremely critical in how some of these companies have found success. I want you to think beyond the technology and begin to think how you can bring the best team, build the best team by assembling people that also complement what you do, not necessarily in technology. You are listening to Tekedia Daily.